Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're going to be playing Flame Swordsman. So this deck is a lot of fun, I really enjoy it. I built a 40 card Infernoble version because I didn't want to build, I see a bunch of people playing 60 card Azamina versions, which just seems really expensive, and it's not like, I don't think that's a deck that people want to learn how to play Flame Swordsman on just because it requires so much investment. This deck was not difficult to build at all. Most of the main deck is SRs, so it was really cheap. But the problem is that while this deck will definitely get you some pretty sick wins, and it feels like you're playing Flame Swordsman, there's huge weaknesses. You can't really build a strong board under max C without overcommitting. Like, I was up against a tier player, and I tried to build like one negate, and I ended up giving them, I think, 10 cards under max C. So I was not able to reasonably control the board with the amount of investment that I put in. And the other thing is that when you go second, it's really hard for you to actually crack any boards. There's not a lot of board breaking potential. So it's a very strong deck when you go first and you don't get max seed. But if you go first and you do get max seed or Fualost, or if you go first and you, if you go second, then the deck stumbles quite a bit. That said, let's go over what we see here. So for the hand traps, we are playing 2 copies of Max C, discard, draw a bunch of cards. Every time your opponent special summons a monster, it's pretty decent. Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, very important card. It is fire, which means that we can revive it with our Promethean Princess. It's also a tuner monster, which means that we can use it to make Barone if we want to. And just prevents our opponent from special summoning from the deck, which they all do these days. This is a very important card to have just to deal with Fiendsmith. Call by the Grave to stop Max C and Fualos. Imperm as a negate during the opponent's turn if they go first. And that is it for the hand traps. Very light. So that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only 10 hand traps. Pretty standard. I feel like most people are running more these days with all the Fualos and Perulia running around. But I feel like this is a solid start, and I don't see any problems with it. Alright, then for the Flame Swordsman core, we have Fighting Flame Swordsman. This is a level 4 Fire Warrior monster with 1800 attack and 1600 defense. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 spell or trap that mentions Flame Swordsman from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard from anywhere, you can send 1 Flame Swordsman or 1 monster that mentions it from your deck or X deck to the graveyard except Fighting Flame Swordsman. You can only use each effect once per turn. This is a very powerful ability. It's very nice that it has the ability to just chain block for you. So when you summon Isolde, you can just use Flame Swordsman as material, and then you trigger your Isolde, which is a very powerful effect that you want to resolve. And then you use Fighting Flame Swordsman's effect as a chain link 2, so that your opponent can't negate your Isolde, which is really, really good. The primary card that we're going to use to search off of this is Flame Swords Realm. But first, we're going to talk about the other monster. Salamandra, the Flying Flame Dragon. When this card is equipped to Flame Swordsman or to a monster that mentions it, the equipped monster gains 700 attack points. You can only use each of the following effects of Salamandra, the Flying Flame Dragon, once per turn. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target 1 warrior monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control as an equipped spell. Does not have to mention Flame Swordsman. Any warrior monster, so it's very good with Infernobles, but it only gives benefit to a Flame Swordsman. If this card is sent to the graveyard from anywhere, you can add 1 Salamandra spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So you normal summon your Flame Swordsman, you pitch it for a linked material, it triggers from going to the graveyard from anywhere, then Salamander triggers from going to the graveyard from anywhere, then you get to draw a spell trap. So it's kind of a long-winded way of getting the spell and trap in your hand, but you do also get the Salamander in your graveyard, which can be useful for equipped spell shenanigans, which this deck has a lot of. Now, for the Flame Swordsman, you're going to add Flame Swords Realm. The artwork on this card is amazing. Look at this. It is Flame Swordsman inside of the biggest Salamander you've ever seen. Continuous spell. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when you normal summon a Fire Warrior monster. That's hilarious. Although, sadly, you will almost always have already normal summoned. Once per turn, you can send 1 monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. special summon one Flame Swordsman from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon. So literally just pops Flame Swordsman onto your field. It's instant fusion, because Flame Swordsman has always been like an instant fusion target. It's really funny that they just gave Flame Swordsman instant fusion. But I mean, it's fair. You just pitch a monster, and then you get to immediately Flame Swordsman. It's only a 1800 attack vanilla. Who cares? Once per turn, when a monster declares an attack, either player's monster, you can target one warrior monster you control. Until the end of this turn, it loses exactly 1,000 attack points, but then all of your other monsters gain 1,000 attack points. So, pretty strong effect. If your opponent attacks one of your weaker monsters, you can make your stronger monster lose a little bit of attack points. Then your weaker monster can beat your opponent's monster in battle, and you win the game. That can definitely turn the tides. And then, of course, you can also attack with a monster, then attack with another monster, and since that monster already attacked, you can cut its attack points by 1,000. Then all of your other monsters get another 1,000 attack points, which is really, really powerful. So, not all that good in pure Flame Swordsman, because that's not really a swarm deck. That's part of the reason why we're playing Infernobles. There's a lot of monsters we can summon that will benefit heavily from gaining that 1,000 attack points. Salamander Fusion, equipped only to a Fire Warrior monster, it gains 700 attack points. If the equipped monster will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy this card instead. When this card is equipped to a fusion monster you control, you can send this card and the equipped monster to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one Flame Swordsman or one fusion monster that mentions Flame Swordsman from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon. You can only use this effect of Salamander Fusion once per turn. Cool, so you just equip it to Flame Swordsman, and then you then send the Flame Swordsman to the graveyard, and you summon your ultimate Flame Swordsman. Easy enough. Next up, we have Fighting Flame Sword. This is a quick play spell card. Activate one of these effects. Add one card from your deck to your hand that mentions Flame Swordsman. When an attack is activated, when an attack is declared involving a Fire Warrior monster you control, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets Flame Swordsman or a monster that mentions it that you control, negate that effect. You can only use one Fighting Flame Sword per turn. Okay, so this is very similar to the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord quick play spell that was released right before this, where it has a very clear good effect of it adds Fighting Flame Sword to your hand, but it also has other things that it can do specifically so that you can play 3 of these, and it's not a brick if you open 2 of them. If you open 2 of these, fine. First one searches, second one is an anti-targeting effect. Good enough. Better than if it did nothing else. So I really like this card. It's a quick play spell, really solid, and so it draws you Fighting Flame Swordsman, and that's your combo. Next up, we have Salamander with Chain. This is the card that you will draw with your Flying Dragon. Target one fire monster on the field, equip this card to it as a material that gains 700 attack points. Then you can change one effect monster on the field to face down defense position. So it's an equipped Salamander that also gives your opponent a Book of Moon effect. It's also it's very funny that it's like a reference to Kunai with Chain, which is a card that Joey Wheeler used, of course, and Flame Swordsman is also Joey Wheeler's card. But I don't think that Joey ever equipped Flame Swordsman specifically with Kunai with Chain. You can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon one Fire Warrior or Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling the materials from your hand, field, and or graveyard into the deck, but destroy it during the end phase. Okay, so this card does let you, if your monster is removed from the field, it lets you banish it from the graveyard to shuffle Flame Swordsman and one of your Fire Dragons together in order to summon the ultimate Flame Swordsman. The problem is that it gets destroyed during the end phase, and if you don't have a way to equip the Flame Swordsman as a quick effect, then you won't even be able to use its pop effect. So the best way to use this is either to do it on your turn or to play Infernobles, because if you play Infernobles, you have a quick effect equip, which is the Captain Roland. Yeah. And then for the main deck, last Flame Swordsman card, Flame Swords Dance, which is a crap card. If a monster is special summon one level 7 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck that is Flame Swordsman or mentions it, then you can change one face-up monster on the field to face-down defense position. This does not let you special summon Ultimate Flame Swordsman because that is level 8, but it does let you special summon your Fighting Flame Dragon, which you can then use with the Salamander with Chain as fusion material. During your opponent's battle phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, tribute one face-down defense position monster, special summon one Flame Swordsman or one monster that mentions it from your deck or extra deck. Okay, so if you set one of your monsters with the effect, you are then able to, during your opponent's battle phase, tribute that monster in order to special summon your ultimate Flame Swordsman. Does this card have a quick effect? Yes, okay. Alright, so the Fighting Flame Dragon can equip itself to one of your Warrior Fusion monsters as a quick effect, so that so during the battle phase, if you tributed the Fighting Flame Dragon to special summon the Ultimate Flame Swordsman, you can then equip the Ultimate Flame Swordsman with the Fighting Flame Dragon and then use its effect to pop one of your opponent's monsters. Good enough. Okay. For the core extra deck, Flame Swordsman, it's Flame Swordsman. Fighting Flame Dragon, level 5 fire fusion monster. It's a fusion of a dragon warrior and a dragon monster and a fire warrior monster. You're never going to summon it that way. Except during the damage step, you can target one warrior fusion monster you control. Equip this card from your field or graveyard to that monster as an equip spell. While equipped to a Flame Swordsman or a monster that mentions it, the equipped monster gains 700 attack points and can make a second attack during each battle phase. Decent card. You're going to mill it. Ultimate Flame Swordsman, the GOAT. A level 8, 2800 attack, 600 defense, fusion of Flame Swordsman and Fighting Flame Dragon. You can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. This is a quick effect if this card is equipped with an equipped card. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles, you can double this card's attack until the end of the turn, but if you do, destroy it during the end phase of this turn. You can only use each effect of Ultimate Flame Swordsman once per turn. I'm going to pause for a second and point out, this is really rare. This card is pretty new. I think it came out in 2023. And it is a fusion monster that follows the very old formula of it lists exactly 2 monsters that you can use as material. Even the other monster doesn't. Even the other monster is any dragon plus any fire warrior. That's what it typically is these days. Because it's so hard to just do the old fusion style of you need exactly these 2 monsters and then a fusion card. But Ultimate Flame Swordsman, yeah, they're just like, yeah, if you want to fusion summon this, make it with these 2 cards. Pretty cool, actually. This is a great card. It's really hard to actually summon it, just because you have to jump through so many hoops. And they didn't really give us an easy way to cheat it out on turn 1. So with that in mind, it's a lot harder to actually make it unless you are doing it during your opponent's turn. But still a good card. I still like it a lot. All right. Now let's talk about the Infernoble core. We have 2 copies of Renaud. Level 1 Fire Warrior. If you control a Fire Warrior, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if it's summoned this way, treat it as a tuner. You can only special summon it once per turn this way. If this card is special summoned by any effect, you can target one of your Fire Warrior monsters or one of your equipped spells that is banished in your graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Great, we need extenders. It's level 1 tuner. Perfect. Fire Flint Lady, level 1 Warrior, 100 attack, 100 defense. If you control a Warrior monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can send this card from your field to the graveyard to special summon 1 level 4 or lower Warrior monster from your hand. If you do, your opponent cannot target it with card effects this turn. Very useful effect. So that means that you can't get impermed, which is huge for your Flame Swordsman. Great card, played at 1. Infernoble Knight, Ricciadetto, level 1 Fire Warrior tuner monster. You can banish this card from your hand or your graveyard to special summon 1 level 4 or lower Fire Warrior monster from your hand as a tuner monster. It's an interesting effect, but we can only use 1 effect per turn, and we're always going to use the second one. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Fire Warrior monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon for the extra deck. You cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except warriors. So Ricciadetto locks us into warriors specifically, which is perfectly fine because both Baronne de Fleur and SP Little Knight are warriors for some reason. It does mean that if you use Ricciadetto, you can't make IP Masquerena or Appaloosa. But if you're going to go for an IP line, you should make IP before you make Ricciadetto, and then Appaloosa can just be made on your opponent's turn with IP. This card's insane. Being able to special summon one of your level 4s from the graveyard so that you can immediately synchro summon into your princess is very, very good. And obviously, it triggers off of being revived from Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames. To be honest, Promethean is like the whole reason this deck even works. If Promethean ever gets banned, then this deck will be terrible. But Promethean is such a powerful card for fire decks that it just makes every possible extender in the game playable, as long as it's a fire monster. And this extender is really, really good if you can mill it and then revive it, as opposed to normal summoning it. Speaking of milling it, in for Noble Knight Ogier, level 4, Fire Warrior, 1500 attack, 2000 defense. While this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Noble Arms card or one Fire Warrior monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Warrior monster you control and equip this card to that monster you control. It used to be that Ogier was like a 3 of. Used to be. Now you just summon it with Isolde, and you only need one copy of it, and it's crazy. Very, very good card. In for Noble Knight Maugus. While this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle into the deck 3 of your other Fire Warrior monsters and or Noble Arms cards that are banished in your graveyard to draw 1 card. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Warrior monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control. This is an interesting card. It's not really all that useful, but it is a... The reason why we play this card is because if we are in a situation where we don't really have... where we've run out of equips from the graveyard and we need one more, it's useful to have another name in the deck that you can easily mill. So, the shuffle back and draw a card effect is useful enough that it justifies playing Maugus specifically over other Infernoble names. But this card is like, just, you're almost never going to use it. We have Immortal Phoenix Gearfried in the deck. You can banish one equipped spell from your field or graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks, you can equip one face-up warrior monster on the field to it as an equipped spell that gives this card 500 attack points. When a monster effect is activated, you can send one face-up equipped card you control at the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Very, very good. This is one of our only ways to negate monster effects that are not activated on the field, which is nice. Strong card. The main problem with it is that if we don't hard open it, it's pretty difficult to get out. The main way that you summon this card is you draw it off of Isolde, but if you draw it off of Isolde, you can't summon it that turn. So you wait till your opponent's you wait till next turn, and it's a good follow-up card. If you do have it, you can use it to get... you can use it along with Infernoble Knight Renaud in order to synchro directly into Barone. Of course, you can't do that if you're Firelocked by Promethean, so get rid of your Promethean first. But it's an interesting idea. Of course, you can also make Barone with Charles. Charles, and then a level 1. This card has only mattered in like 1 game, and I did end up losing that game, but it was a sick replay, so if you guys watch that replay, you'll really like it. Rhoda, add 1 level 4 lower warrior monster from your deck to your hand. You guys know the drill. That'll draw your Flame Swordsman. Heritage of the Chalice. Add 1 Noble Knight monster or 1 Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand. If a Noble Knight monster equipped with a Noble Arms equipped spell is destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, you can return Heritage of the Chalice to your hand. Pretty good effect. So this card allows you to basically just draw any Noble Knight that you want, which will usually be your Renaud, but it could also be your Durandal if you need an equipped card to resolve, which will then draw you your Renaud, so whatever. Good card. Living Fossil. We need equipped spells to fuel our Isolde, and this is one of them. Activate this card by targeting a level 4 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and equip it with this card, but banish it when it leaves the field, even if this card leaves the field. When this card leaves the field, banish the equipped monster. The equipped monster loses 1,000 attack and defense points, also its effects are negated. You can only activate 1 Living Fossil per turn. Good enough. We get it back from our graveyard with Renaud, and it's an extender. Perfectly fine. Durandal. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can add 1 level 5 or lower Fire Warrior monster from your deck to your hand, then destroy this card. So you can't use this card to search Gearfried, which is kind of sad. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 level 5 or lower Warrior monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and then you are Warrior locked. You can only use 1 Durandal effect per turn, only once that turn. Great card. We only need 1 of it. It's good enough. Infernoble Arms All Mace. While this card is equipped to an equipped monster, you can equip 1 Infernoble Arms equipped spell from your deck or graveyard, except All Mace, to 1 appropriate monster you control, then destroy this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 of your Fire Warrior monsters that is banished or in your graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use 1 All Mace effect per turn, only once that turn. Okay, so you might be wondering, this card is essentially the exact same thing as Durandal because it draws you Durandal, so why would we play this card over another copy of Durandal? The reason is because you want the ability to play this card if you open Durandal. If you open Durandal, you can equip it to your opponent's you can equip it to a monster, and then you can use its effect, but then you might not be able to play it again. So All Mace is a card that you don't necessarily need to resolve, you just need to be able to equip it, just because we care about equips. So yeah, it's better. It gets you Durandal if you need it, and then if you don't need it, it's good enough on its own, just because it's in equip. So that's why we play it instead of 2 copies of Durandal. Phoenix Gearblade, equip only to a warrior or a fire monster. It gains 300 attack points. At the end of the damage step, if the equipped monster attacked, you can send this card to the graveyard. During this battle phase, each of your warrior monsters and fire monsters can make a second attack. That is dumb. That is a very, very powerful effect. If this card is sent to the graveyard or banished to activate a monster effect, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use this effect of Phoenix Gearblade once per turn. Great, so that triggers off of Isolde, and it triggers off of our Emperor Charles. So every time that you would pitch your Gearblade, for any reason, it comes right back. Very, very good card. Angelica's Angelic Ring. This card is ridiculous. Equip only to a monster you control that has already been equipped. You can only control 1 ring. Each turn, negate the effect of your opponent's first spell card or effect that resolves. Okay. Equip cards are bad. Equip cards are extremely, extremely bad, because the reason why equip cards are bad is because if you equip a monster and then that monster is removed from the field in response to equipping it, or if it's removed from the field by a card effect later, you also lose the equip card. In other words, equip cards create a target for the monster that is equipped, and then they become a liability, because if your opponent removes the card, not only have you lost the monster, you've lost the equip card, so your opponent has gone 1 for 2. That's a huge value benefit to your opponent. So that's why no one plays equip cards except in equip-specific decks. But the thing is, because equip cards are so bad, they get ridiculous levels of support. It's easy to support, to provide like insane search, insane generic tools to a card type that is bad. That's why we have a card like Pre-Preparation of Rites, which is literally a +1 that any deck can play. Like that they banned Pot of Greed for a reason. And they've limited, they limited Prosperity, no, they banned Prosperity, they limited Desires, they limited, every other card. Like, +1s are not allowed to be good in the game. And yet, we get one for Rituals, because Rituals are terrible. Same thing with Equips. Equips get ridiculous support. So we have Isolde, which just mills any equip that you want, infinite number of equips. Then we also have Charles, which can equip any card directly from your graveyard to it. And so Ring, being a negate that is an equip, is disgusting. It is also, it negates on resolution, which means that it's not an activated effect, which means your opponent can't respond to it. So it doesn't start a chain. It can't be like your opponent can't respond to you activating the effect to negate by destroying the card, because, well, it doesn't activate. And it activates on resolution, which means that if your opponent activates a spell card that you don't want to get negated by Angelic Ring, you can just negate it with Charles. And then when your opponent activates another spell card later, it can just get negated by Angelic Ring. Very good. It doesn't destroy the card, but it does negate effects and cards. So if your opponent activates an effect that's in the graveyard, you can just let Angelic Ring negate it, and then it doesn't matter that it doesn't destroy because it's in the graveyard. Fantastic card. Oh, it also has another effect which is not relevant. So we mill this with Isolde, and then we equip it from the graveyard. Noble Arms Museum. This card is great. Field spell. All fire warrior monsters you control gain 500 attack points. Once per turn, you can pay 1,200 life points. Add one Noble Arms card from your deck to your hand, except Museum. That will usually be your Durandal. Once per turn, if the previous effect was applied this turn, you can target one Noble Knight monster in your spell and trap zone. Special summon it. Also, if you activate this effect while you did not control Noble Knight Emperor Charles, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except warrior monsters. But you will always control Emperor Charles when you activate the effect, so it's fine. Also, you warrior lock yourself anyway. That's it for the main deck. Okay. Extra deck, Noble Knights. We have Noble Knight Captain Roland, level 5 warrior tuner synchro monster. If this card is synchro summoned, you could activate this effect during the end phase of this turn, send one equipped spell from your deck to the graveyard, then add one warrior monster from your deck to your hand. You will almost never synchro summon this card, so that's fine. During the main phase, if this card is in your graveyard as a quick effect, you can target one warrior monster you control, equip this card to that monster you control as an equipped spell that gives it 500 attack points. You can only use each effect of Captain Roland once per turn. This is a very good card. The ability to just equip itself from the graveyard is insanely good, and you just win the game off of that because it's it gives you Charles, and then once you have Charles, then it buffs Charles, and then Charles gets to pop a card during your opponent's turn. You just have insane amounts of extension and insane amounts of interruption. So, this is the ideal, to be honest. This is what a climbing card should look like. If you can't have synchro monsters that are level 5 that are good on their own, and you have to have level 9s and 10s, and those level 9s and 10s have to have a synchro monster to make them, as opposed to just being made like with Kashtira cards, then this is what they should do. They should have an effect that activates when they are summoned, and an effect that activates from the graveyard. And as long as that's the case, they are fantastic. And that is what Roland is. It is a fantastic building block card. Speaking of fantastic building block cards, Angelica, Princess of Noble Arms. This is a level 5 warrior synchro monster. It is not a tuner. 1,200 attack points, 2,400 defense points. If this card is special summoned, not synchro summoned, you can add one Horn of Oliphant or one card that mentions Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles from your deck to your hand. I don't know what the targets for this card are. We just use it to get museum. When a card effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or when this card is targeted for an attack, as a quick effect, you can send one Fire Warrior monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, banish this card until the end phase. Then you can special summon one Roland monster from your deck or your extra deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay, so this card allows you to mill, but it mills for effect, not for cost, which means that your opponent can ash this. But as long as your opponent does not ash this, then you get to special summon Roland from your extra deck, which means that you trade a non-tuner for a tuner, and you also get to mill a card, and the card that we will usually mill is Turpin, which is a level 4, that goes with the level 5, so that we can make Charles immediately. So just a really good extender that she doesn't even have to sacrifice herself. She comes back at the end of the turn, which is insane. So very, very good card, and milling is amazing. So this card is huge for the combo. Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles, level 9, 3,000 attack, 200 defense. Every time I see a fire monster with 200 defense, I'm reminded of the fire 200 defense support, and I just laugh. If an equipped card becomes equipped to a monster on the field, even during the damage step, you can destroy one card on the field. That is stupid. That is extremely good. A non-targeted destroy effect that can trigger during the damage step. I don't think there's a single other card in the game that can do this. You have to negate cards to be activated during the damage step, or you have to change attack. The only reason why Charles specifically is allowed to resolve during the damage step is because equip cards almost always give attack points. So quick effect equips are the best activated during the damage step. And if Charles did not resolve during the damage step, no one would play him. And that would defeat the purpose of him being an equipped spell boss monster. So they had to write a very specific exception to the rule, and by doing so, they broke the card. This card is absolutely disgusting. Being able to non-targeted destroy during the damage step when your opponent cannot respond in any way other than to negate the activation is absurd. That is so disgusting. So yes, Charles is a good card. During the end phase, you can equip one equipped spell from your hand or graveyard to this card, and then you can equip one Fire Warrior monster from your deck to this card as a material that gains it 500 attack points. Absolutely disgusting. Once again, you get to equip from hand or equip from graveyard any equipped spell. So again, it's like I said, equip cards, because they're so bad, are allowed to get whatever support they want. So being able to just equip any card, not just a Noble Arms card, from your graveyard when you have a soul is really good. Now, I can understand that this was intended synergy, because technically Isolde is a Noble Knight card, but let's be honest, like that's ridiculous. Emperor Charles the Great. We are playing 2 copies of this. This is a Link 1 with 3,000 attack points. That is disgusting. Most Link 1s have 1,000 or less attack points. But Emperor Charles the Great has very unique requirements. It requires a level 9 Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles equipped with an equipped card. That is its material. You do not read that wrong. It's very weird that they have this like evolved synchro. Okay, they need to. If this is what they're gonna do, and I think this is great. I think this is like a very elegant way of retraining a good card. They should take all of the Assault Mode monsters, like Stardust Dragon Assault Mode and Red Dragon Archfiend Assault Mode, and make them Link ones that require this specific monster. Because that way people could actually play the Assault Mode cards. Because Assault Mode was such a cool idea, but Assault Mode Activate itself is terrible. So now that they have this like Assault Mode version of Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles, they should do that for all the other Synchro monsters. It'd be great. If this card is Link Summon, you can target one Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles in your graveyard. This card's name becomes that target's original name, and it gains that target's original effects. Then equip this card to that target to this card as an equip spell that gives it 500 attack points. Once per turn, when a spell or trap or effect is activated, as a quick effect, you can send one equipped card from your hand or field to the graveyard, negate the activation if you do destroy the card. Charles is weird. That is a very strange effect. So, so its name is no longer Emperor Charles the Great. It becomes Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles. Then, it doesn't replace this effect with its effects. It gains its original effects. So, your Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles has, if this card is Link Summon, you can target, etc. It also has, once per turn, when a spell or trap or effect is activated, you can send one equipped spell from your hand or field to the graveyard and negate activation if you destroy the card. Then it also says, when an equipped card is equipped, even during the damage step, you can target one monster on the field and destroy it, or target one card on the field and destroy it. And then also, during the end phase, you can equip a card, etc. So, it's like 4 cards at one time. Very, very stupid effect. I love it. This is amazing. And then the weird thing is it's a lingering effect, so even if you remove Charles from the field, even if you banish Charles, like there could be a point where you could theoretically banish Charles face down, and then your opponent would have to know what Emperor Charles the Great's effects are without Emperor Charles being public knowledge. So your opponent would have to be like, excuse me, I don't remember what your Synchro Monster does, and it's currently on the field, I guess, still. So, could you please reveal your face-down banished card so I can read it? And then you would have to say, Judge, he wants to see my face-down banished pile. And then the judge would have to come in and listen to this absolutely ridiculous situation and curse Konami for putting him in this position. Or her. Absolutely disgusting. Why are we playing 2 of these if we only have one Emperor Charles? Well, that's because the field spell lets us special summon Charles from the spawn trap zone. I'm sorry, I am rambling so much. It is, 12:40 in the morning, and I'm just having a great time. Like, this deck is so much fun. Last card is, of course, Isolde herself. Link to 2 warrior monsters, 1600 attack points. If this card is Link Summon, you can add 1 warrior monster from your deck to your hand, but for the rest of the turn, you cannot normal summon, normal set, or special summon monsters with that name, nor activate their monster effects. I do not know how that is even possible to enforce. How are you supposed to tell if you have normal set that monster? This is the same thing as, like, the Infernity players who would set their monsters as back row and just hope that no one checked them. You can send any number of equipped spells or different names from your deck to the graveyard, and special summon 1 warrior monster from your deck whose level equals the number of cards sent to the graveyard. Okay, so that sounds complicated. It's not. You take 4 equipped spells, you mill them, and then you special summon Ogier from your deck. Very, very cool effect. Great card, played it too. For the rest of the deck, we have Barone, which is a synchro summon, 1-time Omni Negates that can revive Charles. IP Masquerena, Link Summon during your opponent's turn. SP Little Knight gets Link Summon during your opponent's turn, and then you can banish cards. It also is a warrior, so we can play it under the locks. Promethean Princess, Bestower of Flames, absolutely disgusting. You cannot special summon except fire monsters. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 fire monster from your graveyard, and if a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field while this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 fire monster you control, 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy them, and if you do special summon this card, insane. And then lastly, Appa. Cool. That is the deck. Let's take a look at the replay. Alright, we are going first against Dragon Maids. And they chose to go second, so they are playing a board-breaking deck. Activate the Flame Swords Realm and pitch the... we pitch the Infernoble Knight Renaud to special summon Flame Swordsman from our extra deck. Our opponent is going to chain Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, which destroys our continuous spell. And when a continuous spell is destroyed during the middle of its activation, it fizzles. Now we're going to normal summon Infernoble Knight Turpin. Then we special summon Fire Flintlery from our hand because we control a warrior monster. So we are now down to just 1 card in our hand. We've used up our entire hand just to get a sold. Isolde effect. Draw the Fighting Flame Swordsman, which we can't use. Then we mill 4. Special summon the Ogier from the deck. Trigger the Phoenix Gearblade as a Chain Link 2. The opponent's going to Skullmeister us. So we do not get to get the Phoenix Gearblade back. Unfortunate. Ogier mills the Ricciardetto, and then we link the Ogier and the Isolde off into our Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames. Promethean Princess's effect, we bring back the Ricciardetto. Ricciardetto, special summon the Ogier back. Now we can synchro into Angelica. Angelica effect, grab the field spell. Activate the field spell, use it to grab our Durandal. From the graveyard, we'll activate Ogier to equip to Angelica. Then we'll chain Angelica, banish her, mill the Magus, special summon the Captain. Magus effect, we return Ricciardetto, Fire Flint Lady, and Renaud to the deck. Shuffle to draw 1 card, which is Heritage, which is insane. Now we're going to activate Durandal, draw the Renaud, pop. Special summon Renaud, Renaud effect to get back the Living Fossil that we milled with the Isolde. Activate Living Fossil, bring back our Magus. Synchro, Magus gets banished, we don't care. Bring out the Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles. Activate Turig's effect from the graveyard, and then we can destroy our Promethean Princess so we're not fire locked anymore. Link the Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles with the equip spell off into Emperor Charles the Great. Charles the Great, equip the Charles from the graveyard. Now we activate the field spell, special summon the Charles from the spell and trap zone. Activate Roland's effect, equip it from the graveyard. Now we can use Turpin's effect. If we control a monster that is equipped, we can special summon it but banish it when it leaves the field. Link into SP Little Knight to give us some more arrows. Then we'll link the Charles off again, make another copy of Emperor Charles the Great, and Emperor Charles the Great equips the Charles again. Set the Imperm, end of turn, special summon the Angelica back. Then we're going to equip from our graveyard the Angelic Ring, and we are going to then equip the Immortal Phoenix Gearfried from our deck. Okay, so we have 2 spell and trap negates along with a spell negate on resolution. We can pop at any time by equipping Roland from our graveyard, and we have Imperm. So, oh, and we also have Promethean Princess in our graveyard to pop again. So we have 2 pops, we have 3 spell and trap negates, and yeah, we're in great shape. It's our opponent's turn. They're going to activate Dragon Maid Lorepar, discard it to make it so that we can't activate SP Little Knight this turn. No big deal. They activate their spell card to revive. On resolution, we negate. Then they'll activate Raigeki. We negate. And they surrender. There you go. You can't blind second against this deck. We got way too many spell and trap negates. You cannot break the board using traditional blind second strategies. It's just not possible. So there you go. That is the deck. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.